We are live. Hi, guys. My name is Neek. I am Unique. This is my cousin.
Hey, I'm Rashida.
All right, so we are here pretty much just talking about our journey as far as like our mental health and spiritual stuff. And so we just kind of wanted to discuss a few things on that. And yeah, hope you guys join in and I hope you enjoy. What's your first question?
All right, so the first question we are going to discuss is how do you recognize when you are going through a shift that requires healing? So, yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah, for me, it was just stuff wasn't working out for me. Like, always old patterns wasn't working for me, and I just came to a place where it was just like, what am I doing? Like,
Oh my god,
yeah.
man! It's, uh,
But, yeah.
I understand that. So for me, basically the same. Just tired of my old shit and just I don't know, just tired of the old feelings and I don't know, not feeling good enough, not feeling enough for myself, especially everybody else. But I think everybody gets to that point where it's like no more and enough is enough. So I definitely hit that wall. I have a few. Let me pull them up. Let's see. All right. So, my first question is what has been the biggest epiphany about yourself that you've realized, positive or negative? So, I'll go first. A negative would be just overly people pleasing. I hear myself talk. Yeah, people pleasing has been like a huge issue in my life, and so once I started setting boundaries, it's like it was foreign to a lot of people, and it's like, what's wrong with this bitch? And it was odd to me too, and it's like, dang, I feel bad for saying no, but at the same time, I felt empowered. I'm like, oh damn, what is that? And so, yeah, I think that's been the biggest epiphany I've had about myself. Positive would be I am patient. Sometimes too patient. It's like a double edged sword, but I am patient. So
Got
I'll
the patience.
myself.
So,
Man, what? Look, 84 years. Yeah, it is what it is.
for me, I would say the positive is that I do take my time to listen because I feel like a part of that was like I just never really felt heard. Not that I talked a lot as a child, and that's a whole other story.
That's
But
true.
it's like I think the negative was of outside of that was I felt like there wasn't a place for me to feel heard, but it also empowered me to listen to other people. So it's a kind of like that. Okay, it's a negative here, but it's a positive. I would say my negative is I do recognize that I operate in fear way too much. That's something that I'm still working on today. So it's
Oh,
definitely a battle.
like you've been bringing it tonight. Like even before we started recording, I'm like, yo, going deep, are we? But I definitely feel like it's conversations that need to be had, especially not only within our community. I mean, we come from the same bloodline. I mean, we're cousins. So I feel like a lot of our issues are very similar. I see a lot of you and me and vice versa, but also understand it's not just a us thing, it's a society thing, it's a community thing. And yeah, we just got to do the work one by one.
But you gotta be one ready to do the work because baby, the work is not easy.
It's not.
It's gonna get worse before it get better, and that's just the truth. I don't know why
Oh,
people make it look like a glam. It's not until the end. So don't even expect it coming off the front.
God.
No.
Listen, when I don't know why people have this. I don't know. I guess it's because I do pray for peace and stuff. But I
Mhm.
don't know. People be thinking it's roses and rainbows over there. I'm like, baby, I'm struggling. Okay, I'm just over here hanging
Right,
on by a thread. You know, I do thank
right.
God I do have a certain light that shines through. Because again, that's what I pray
Mhm.
for. But it gets heavy. Right. So, what's your next question? I'm afraid.
How do you know when you have healed from something that you once struggled with?
Hmm, that's a good one.
Hmm, I don't want to know about to business out there, but it's my business too. That's another trauma response. But I think something that I healed from something that I struggled with was when I used to allow certain people and stuff like that say certain things to me, I would just take it on the chin and I would just cry about it, which bred depression.
Hmm.
So I'm not really voicing how I feel. And it's like now I've been more expressive. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Nice about it, but like, no, you're not gonna talk to me like that.
Yes.
And I think for me, for the most part, in the beginning, I was just scared of I don't want to come off like that.
Right.
But there's healthy ways to communicate your emotions, your feelings to a person without even get stooping down to their level. It's hard sometimes,
Literally.
especially
Right.
when you have somebody that's just they
Hell,
only
man.
operate in
Oh,
one mode.
misunderstand. Oh, we.
Right. And some people will intentionally provoke you to get that, but you can't give them the satisfaction, and that's something that I have to constantly work on. But I'm getting better at it. I feel like just speaking those emotions because your feelings, our feelings, matter too.
I totally agree. And same. Like I said, just being a people pleaser, I never wanted to ruffle the feathers. I don't like
Mhm.
confrontation. I don't like violence. And you know where we come from, baby. If you nothing, you know, baby, nothing, you
Them
up.
bold.
And
We can talk
so
about it
that
later.
listen. And so as a little kid, that taught me you don't talk back. You know what I'm saying? You close your mouth and you just go with the flow.
Mhm.
And I guess for a while it quote unquote works or whatever. But once you become an adult and you realize that the only way you can be heard is to speak, you know,
Right.
or people are going to run with a narrative, they're going to speak for you, and,
Mhm.
you know, it's just not going to be a good situation. Um, so that's definitely one thing, just being more expressive, like you said, and just being honest about how I actually feel. Because when people say, like, oh, I hate liars and stuff, I'm like,
Mhm.
dang, I kind of been lying because it's not that like I'm out here just telling blatant lies, but just lying about how I feel about stuff. You know, saying
Right.
I'm okay when I really ain't. Just like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine, but I'm really being eaten away from the inside type stuff. So I've learned not to do that because to lie to other people about how you feel is to lie to yourself. So
Right. I feel
that's
that.
definitely been a journey. Like you said, you gotta be ready. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. What Kevin Gates said, you're gonna do it or don't. Like,
Right.
all right. So my next question is, how has life been since coming to these realizations? Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is eye opening, but I feel like in some points, like it can be like I don't know. I don't want to say stressful because like you're aware of it, but it's like at first it's like you're aware of it and you don't know what to do next because you have to pretty much learn new habits all over again.
Right.
But it's like a clean slate in some point, but it's also the question like how do I handle this? So
Yes.
I think for me it's just the ongoing battle of finding a better way to deal with some things
Yeah.
or not doing what I'm used to doing,
Yeah.
which sometimes, I just go ahead and be like, revert back. because it's safe there.
That's literally what I put. I said, I mean, it's easier to realize when I'm falling back into old patterns.
Mhm.
However, I'm still trying to find the balance as far as setting healthy boundaries because it's like I either underdo it or I overdo it. There's no gray area. It's like, stay the fuck away from me, or I just want to love on everybody.
Right.
And so, um, it's definitely different, but like you said, just learning how to maneuver your new way of being now that the rose colored glasses are gone. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
step by step.
So my next one was, how do you know when you're dealing with unresolved trauma, and how do you acknowledge that in your behavior? I
Oh, wait.
have a whole story time on that one. Okay.
Okay. I'm down for a story time.
Okay. So this was a couple years back when I was still staying with my sister, and I mean it was a domestic situation. I'm not gonna go into detail about it, but
Okay.
it was it was like I haven't been in that situation for so long, especially like since I was I don't want to say a child, but it had been so long since I had been exposed to it that when it happened, it was like I was crying worse than the kids. And
Mm-hmm.
my sister came in and she was like, "Wait, why are you crying?" And
Wait
I'm
a
like,
minute.
"I don't
Listen,
know." And it
I
wasn't
understand.
until way later that I realized, like, and I was triggered. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I hadn't dealt with in a while, and it was triggering. And at the time, I was like, I don't know, I'm just hurt for one. Why is this
Mm-hmm.
happening?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the language of a child that hasn't really dealt with what they dealt with growing up in the household.
Oh.
But I definitely deal with those situations better now because I just go ahead and get out of Dodge because I'm
It,
not doing
hello, girl. See ya real quick. I definitely
it. I won't
understand
no
that.
part. Yeah.
Yes. So, hmm. Just not responding so emotionally like I used to, and I guess, like I said, just not holding stuff in as much. I'm pretty sure I have a couple story times too, but I don't know if I want to go into those. But
Right.
again, just realizing that I don't know, like I said, once you kind of, I guess, what do you call it? You're aware of what's going on within yourself is
Mhm.
different because it's like, okay, these feelings are familiar. Where do I know these feelings from? And like you said, you revert back to that small child, like, okay, that's what it is, but have you healed from it? Have you really worked through it? And sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes it's like, no, absolutely not. Sometimes I cry for a couple weeks because I haven't resolved some stuff, but
Mhm.
I've learned to be patient with myself because, like I said, one of the positive things about me is I am patient, but I'm not patient
Mhm.
with myself. I get aggravated. I'm like my biggest critic, but I know that's something that was probably planted in me as a child. So, with that awareness, it's still hard, but I also was like, girl, you tripping. Like, if you don't calm down, like,
So
yeah,
I got a question.
yeah,
Because I watched a couple videos, but like, do you think your inner critic is like what was built up or what was spoken into you, and it's just still something that you deal with, or like how would I say that? Like where do you feel like your inner voice is coming from? Because a lot of people says your inner voice is the things that was spoken to you like
I
as a
believe that.
child.
Hmm. I definitely believe that. And then also the environments that you're in and the
Mm-hmm.
people that you're raised by. So if they're their own biggest critic and
Mm-hmm.
they constantly talk stuff about themselves, that
Right.
is very impressionable for a child. So they begin to do the same thing. And I literally do it even to this day. Like people may say, well, you're being sensitive and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, you don't understand what you talking bad about yourself does to me. But now that I'm an adult, it's like, okay, I can separate myself. But little me didn't know the difference. I thought that was normal. I'm supposed to bag on myself all the time. You ain't this, you ain't that, you big back this, you big back that. Like,
No.
and I can still joke with myself, but now I understand there is a limit, ma'am.
Right.
Because, people treat you how you feel about yourself. So if people see you talking about yourself all the time and how you ain't worth of this and you ain't worth of that, and it's like, well, shit, I'm gonna treat you like that too. You can't do that around here, boo.
And it's good that like you can come to a place where you can actually laugh about it because you're gonna cry before you get to the hee hee ha ha part. So I like that you said that. Like you can come back and just be like,
Thanks.
nigga.
Right. And again, like I think people have a misconception of it. Not I
Mhm.
I went through a lot in private. You know what I'm saying? By myself. I took it to the Lord. Baby, I have nothing else. Lay me at the throne. Like just, really first of all, just going within myself and realizing there's a lot to unpack in there. There's a
Mhm.
lot to sort through, and it's not just stuff from today, it's from yesterday and years ago, and things that just built up in my subconscious mind. I'm like, yeah, I don't see how people go through life without having the actual chance to sort through that stuff. And you can tell the people who do.
Like,
Yeah.
so you don't think I'm making that you did? Even if it doesn't, like, I was thinking about that, but I'll say that later. But, like, some people do they not, like, because I feel like self reflection is one way you take accountability. And if you can't self
Exactly.
reflect, how are you taking accountability to see yourself and how you wrong? Okay, I don't know. I have to break it down. Tell you about
No, I definitely, I don't know. I guess for us to be so young, I mean, we're in our 30s now, but I still feel like that's young.
it.
You just see older people that you think would be like role models, and it's like, you don't get it. You just don't get it. And it leaves you
Come
kind of
on over here
feeling
so I can
like,
love you,
it leaves you feeling like, damn, it's kind of scary because it's like, I don't want to be that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not
Right.
being mean. I'm not bagging on anybody, but I don't want to be old and ignorant. I want to be able to say, hey, I've grown and I've learned from this. I'm not doing the
Right.
same foolish stuff that I used to do.
And that can also cause you to be stagnant too, because how like if you still caught up in the same stuff, when are you growing? Like you still harping about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep.
Exactly. And that's just kind of hard to overcome because, like I said, it's not just an individual issue. We've watched these relationships play out since forever. This was going on for generations and generations. And so sometimes I feel like, man, it's so simple. Like everybody just self reflect. Everybody just do the inner work. Everybody just do the shadow work. Go back to your little childhood and nurture that child. But I also have to understand not everybody has that mindset. Some people are comfortable in toxicity, you know, and it's become a everyday norm for them. So, they want to be angry. Like every day you wake up, it's something to be mad
Why?
about.
Why?
Look, you
I
feel
want to laugh.
me?
Like,
Right.
please.
Exactly. And I don't
But
know toxic stuff either. Not no talking about people, not that
like,
drama stuff. Like, mm-mm.
it's more to life. But you gotta come
Exactly.
out. Like some people don't. Some people I feel like myself at times, especially in certain areas,
Mhm.
you're too afraid to grow because you don't know what you'll become and you're afraid of who you will be. And that let me tell you, it's a whole nother demon right there. I'm not gonna say it's
Man,
demon. You don't know. you don't know what you'll become. You don't know who you're gonna lose in the process of that, and you have to be okay with all of that when you go
Hey,
through it. Because
bro. Do
some
you know how
people
many
just
times I have self-sabotage? Like people have tried to help me, and now I look back on it and it's like, damn, like it could have been a million of by now, you know what I'm saying? But it's
right,
like that was my bad. That was my fuck up. And it's like I can't do anything about it but move on and do better, you know?
right,
But again, that was me seeing things from my trauma, the things I had been through. Oh, maybe they're too good to be true. But then look back, I was like, man, because what's for me is for me at the end of the day. And I do feel like there are lessons that taught me a lot. So
yeah,
not only to, just be patient, but also be grateful for
mhm.
anybody or any situation, good or bad. Just take the lesson away. You're up.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the boundaries. Are boundaries necessary, and how do you know when to set them?
Oh, hey, I was like Oprah when I first started. You get a boundary. You get a boundary. You get it. No was my best friend. No, you want to know. You want to go, no. Can I get no? No.
No is a sentence. It's a
No.
complete sentence.
Exactly. Um, to me, they are definitely necessary. Yes. Um, just me again, former people pleaser, just realizing how spread thin I was. Way over here, way over here. Oh, I want to do this for this person. I want to do that, and it's because I had an internal want for wanting to be liked.
Right.
After so much rejection, and I feel like I've really been through. It's more of what can I do to get people to like me, and one thing about it, people are gonna like you, one way or another. And if they don't, then not your people. So
Right.
that's what I've learned.
That's true. I agree, and I do
Mm-hmm.
say yes. And to add on to that, I feel like when you get to that point in your journey where you realize that boundaries are necessary, that's the first indicator that you're getting back to yourself. Because boundaries, I like to say, boundaries are like the hedges or a fence around your house.
Yeah.
It's protecting what's
Facts.
on
I
the
like that.
inside of there.
Yes.
So when you're setting those boundaries, you're knowing what those are like your beware of the dog signs.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to cross over and get bit, just mind the sign, okay? You're gonna be
Facts.
good. Now,
Facts.
if I open up the gate and I let you in, please still be aware of that sign on the outside because you can get
Facts.
back on the outside, okay?
Yes.
So I feel like that's the ultimate indicator that you're starting to get to yourself because you know what you will not allow and you know what
Mm-hmm.
you can allow and how it affects you as a person.
Right.
So as you grow, your boundaries will change. They're gonna
Yes.
shift. So you don't have to have this one set boundary. I'm sticking to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna change as you grow
That's
because
fact.
we
Oh,
always are gonna change throughout our
yes.
journey. So
I
yeah.
like that. Oh, two finger clap. Yes. And just to piggyback off of that, what I've learned is setting your boundaries in the beginning is very essential. Because if
Mhm.
I set my boundary, you know, and you cross that boundary, you can't tell me that, well, I didn't know because I've already established. Now, whether or not you were listening, that's not on me. And if you wasn't listening, that lets me know that you really don't care. You don't really give a damn.
Right.
And especially today, because it's like I don't like repeating myself. I don't like repeating my boundaries because I feel like you don't care. You're like, well, yeah, I heard you, but what you gonna do? I'm gonna
Mhm.
show you. But
Yeah,
they're
for
getting stronger
enforcement.
and stronger.
Right. The setting boundaries and not standing by them is just you might as well just not even tell them in the first place. So
Yeah,
you have to
exactly.
be right.
You're right. You're right about that. You keep hitting me with it. I'm like, yeah, shit, you're right about that. Because I'm like, maybe once, maybe twice. But
Look, I struggle too. Like I
yeah.
know I struggle. Like I was like, go a boundary. I'm gonna take your baby. I'm gonna slide it over to the side for you. Come on in.
Look, I know what I
I'm
said.
seeing those
I know, but that's what I always say. I know Rome wasn't built in a day. All the trauma that I've experienced didn't happen in a day. So I have to give myself grace. You may mess up, but just get back up there. It'll be okay. Get back up and try again. Um,
Push yourself off and try again,
you
try
know how I was
again.
going with it.
Just don't succeed.
Yay! I have one last question. I have to prepare for the next one.
Well, let me know what the next topic is.
Okay, so my last question is, what are you hoping to accomplish within the next few years? It can be,
Can I go first?
anything.
Okay, so one of the things that I am working on is completing goals that I set for myself that I just let fall to the wayside. So,
Right. We
look.
definitely in the same family, sis.
So I'm actually re-enrolled in school, and I started in May to complete that. So
Congratulations. Congrats.
yeah, so I want to go ahead and complete that and get it out the way because, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know. I let
Mhm.
life knock me back down, and I
Right.
stayed there for too long. And it's time to pick up the pieces and get back in the ring and start that
Mhm.
fight.
For me, of course, continue to work on myself, just overall, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, um, becoming closer to God, because the way today is going, my goodness, we need it. Um, Also, to be more consistent with my content, actually start taking it serious because I do believe we do have a lot of good stuff that needs to be put out there, the things we should talk about. Because I mean, just the things we talk about in person, I'm like, yo, people need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? So definitely get on the content tip and be more financially responsible. Yes. Look, that's one of my goals. Look, I'm working on it. I'm working on
Yeah.
it. I be
The
liking
family,
stuff.
I
Again, I understand where we come from, especially down south and stuff. We don't know what we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So again, I do give myself grace, but I also understand it's up to you to sink or swim. So I'm aware of that, and been getting a lot of information. Even the job I work now is in finance, so I'm like,
Mhm. So you can get
I
them
told
tips
you,
and tricks.
baby. Look, these the words I've been avoiding my whole life: retirement, 401k, all that stuff. I ain't want to know nothing about it, and now I'm like, oh my
Okay.
gosh.
That
But
works both ways.
yeah,
You
that's
pay
true.
for it, you can also learn for yourself. So
Yeah, exactly. That's why I feel like God put me in this position for a reason. Because I'm like, now what
I
are the odds?
see what you're doing up there. I see what you're doing up there, me dog.
No, because it's so funny though, and maybe it ain't, but I told you I be praying, girl. I be praying. So I'm like,
Hmm.
Lord, I thank you for financial intelligence and And then this happened. I'm like, whoa, hold up, yeah. I
Right.
wasn't ready. But he doesn't wait for you to get ready. He say it's on my time. So
You have not till you ask now. Now you ask. You're
exactly.
right.
Yeah, even
So,
outside of that, it's a lot of just different situation where that is like true. Like I said, I pray for patience, I pray for kindness, and then I get pissed off when people make it seem like I don't have no problems. But it's like, bitch, you asked for peace. You asked for the peace that surpasses all understanding. You know what I'm saying? So when people run into you, that's what it's given.
I don't think
So
people understand that you can have problems and handle them gracefully, especially when you've been through that. So it's like they don't
exactly.
see like you don't have no problems. Oh yes, I do. I just don't have
Right.
to act like a tomfool when I have them. I know how to just take them in private,
Exactly.
not deal with them private, not come back out. Okay.
Exactly. And when they perceive that you don't, it's like, well, shoot, you ain't got no problem. I'm gonna throw a couple, throw a couple problems at you. I got you.
Right.
But All right, guys. I'm Unique, and you are too.
All right, bye. I'm Rashida.
Talk to you later. Bye.